Okay, today I'm going to do an object in one-point perspective. Before we just did the boxes, and that's great to learn, but you need to eventually be able to draw something. So today what I thought we would do is we would draw a chair. I think that's a really good way to start. So let me start by drawing our vanishing point. I could put this anywhere. So let's make our horizon line up here, and I can put this vanishing point anywhere here that I want. I can make it way over to the edge. I can make it in the middle. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just gonna put it right here, and we'll start our chair right there. What I wanna do is start with the very front of whatever object you're drawing. So we're drawing a chair, and I want to start with the point that is the closest to me. So I'm going to start with the very front of the seat. You can see right there, there's my seat right there. Then what I want to do is I want to draw my legs. Let's draw the other leg. And this is the part that is the closest to me. That's what I want to draw first, the part that's the closest to me. And I'm just drawing the front. Remember, when you do one-point perspective, you're just drawing the front of the object. Not to be confused with two-point, where you're drawing the corner. And we will do that later. Okay, so I've got my two legs. Now I want to put like a little some kind of small support down there for my legs. I'm going to draw this a little bit lighter because I need to make some changes with it in a minute. Okay, now that I've drawn the front of my chair, I need to draw the seat next. So I want to draw it back to the vanishing point. And remember, our vanishing point is off to the side here. You could put it right in the middle if you want to, but I just decided to put it off to the side because remember, you're the artist and you can do whatever you want. Okay, so what I've done is I've drawn the corners back to the vanishing point, and I want to draw where the back of the seat is going to be. Now, depending on how far away your vanishing point is from what you're drawing, that'll change the perspective. So I have it pretty far away. If I wanted to make less of a seat showing, I could have drawn it a little bit closer. Again, it just depends where you put the vanishing point. Okay, so I've got the seat there. The next thing I want to do is I want to draw my legs in the back. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my legs in the back, and I'm just going to draw those right up here. I have to draw those a little bit lighter for now because I've got to make some changes. And you'll see that in a minute. So there's one leg, and then the other leg is going to be over here. Again, I'm going to make it a little bit light so that I can make some changes to it. Okay, so there's another leg. So what I was saying is that I want to figure out where the bottom of the leg should be. Okay, and to do that, if I draw a line from here and where it intersects right there, that is going to be where my corner is. So I just put a little dot there, and I'm going to draw my legs. I'm going to end them right there. Look like really short legs, don't they? Well, again, that's because of the perspective that we're using. I could change this perspective now, change the vanishing point, but then it would change a whole bunch of stuff, and I really don't want to do that. Sometimes it may not look right, and that's okay, you know, as long as you're drawing it properly in perspective, it won't matter. So now I've got this distance between this little support and here, so I want to kind of figure out where it might be there. I don't know that I would see that, so I think I'm not going to draw it for now. Okay, so I've drawn the fronts of the legs. Let's draw the perspective on the legs now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw all the corners back to the vanishing point. I'm not going to draw them very far because I'm not going to want to erase all of that. Okay, you see how that's done right there? We're going to do the same thing over here. Now remember, we're close to the vanishing point here. So we're going to see a more skewed side here. He's just barely seeing that. Okay, so that's the side. Now I want to draw just the other edge right here, the thickness. And that's why I didn't draw this really dark, because I need to go back and make a change there. Okay, so we're drawing the thickness there, and the thickness here. Okay, and I can draw the thickness right back here. Now that support, you see we've got these little lines that go all the way. We don't want them to go all the way. I don't know if you can see that very well, but we're going to end this little piece of wood right inside here. That little support. Let's darken that up so you can see it a little bit better. Okay. Now, probably an eraser would be good here because I've got some little bitty lines here that probably should be erased, and you'd be able to see it a little bit better. I'm going to try to erase it, and then I have to fix some lines. I think I can do that. Okay. Not too bad. So what I did was I drew this little piece of wood going into the side of this leg, and then you can't see it over here because my vanishing point is over to the right. Now what I might want to do is I might want to draw a support that goes back here. And the top of it, oh, you know, I'm going to change the top of it probably right around here. Okay, and we will make the bottom of it. Okay, now we have to make the top portion of this piece of wood here. Okay, when we get over here, you know, it's ending right where that line is already. So we are just going to use that line, and we will draw a line down here. Okay, and we probably would want to erase this so we don't see through it because it just becomes confusing. You can see that right there, and we did that little bitty piece of line there. If I were drawing this a little bit bigger, it'd probably be a little easier. I always try to get the students to draw big. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I think sometimes they just ignore me, so that's okay. I mean, sometimes you just have to do what you think is best, right? Okay, so we've got this portion here, that portion there. We can draw the back portion. Okay, and it's probably gonna go right about here. Here. And remember, it's going to come into this leg some. Okay, and you will have like a little back portion to it. I mean, like a kind of a top to the piece of wood, top section of the wood, be right there. I mean, it's getting really small in here to draw this, but okay, so that's the other leg. Now, we've got right here to do. draw up and down. This may take you a little bit longer than my other drawings because, you know, think about how complicated this is. I mean, it's kind of complicated, especially, you know, if you haven't drawn perspective a lot, you're going to find it more complicated. So, again, you can erase in here, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. Okay, so there's the bottom of my chair. Now let's make the top portion. You know what I want to do is I think I want to make this chair angle out a little bit. So I'm going to let it angle a little. Instead of going straight up, I'm going to change the angle a little bit so it angles out some. I just think it'll look better. Okay. So let's draw some thickness to these. So that's kind of my 2 pieces of wood coming up. Let's make the top portion. There's the top. Okay, let's make a little cross brace. I don't want anyone falling out of this chair. And we'll make just a little cross brace right there. Okay, so the next thing to do is to draw our corners back to the vanishing point. Okay, we can draw this corner back. Okay, I think we got to draw next right here. This little portion right back here. Now we got to draw that top line for our little brace. Now I know I'm doing this rather quickly, so if you need to slow it down, just stop the video and slow it down. Okay, you'll be fine. Okay, so we have our little brace right there. We have our corner, we got the top, the sides, these corners here. You notice we can't see the inside of these. It's because the vanishing point's on the right side, but don't worry about that. That's perfectly fine. So, a couple things that I've noticed here, if you look at this, and I think it's because of the perspective. I either have my lines off a little here or they're off a little bit here. This technically should line up where both these braces are coming to the same point. So it could be that my lines are a little bit off. It could be just the perspective, the way the perspective worked out, because I've got these lines lined up here and it looks a little bit off. In cases like that, you know, sometimes I don't stress over that. You know, it's because of the perspective. It's caused where the vanishing point is and the horizon line is. It's not a big deal, okay? But it's probably fine. So if you see something like that, it looks just a little weird, you know, you can always ask your teacher, but it might be just because of where the perspective is. Okay, so this is a chair in 1-point perspective. Try it out. Take your time. Do a good job. Remember to draw nice and light, and then you can always darken it up later. You know, maybe you could go back over it with a marker. Be careful, those will bleed a lot, and you might have some problems, but that, you know, that's something you just have to try out for yourself. Okay, so do the chair. Tell me what you think. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, do all that kind of YouTube stuff, and look for my next video. I'm going to do another chair. I'm going to do it in 2-point perspective instead of 1-point perspective. Okay, I'll see you next time.